Peace. I wanted to take a moment and just build briefly about breaking habits and mental discipline. One of my brothers, Garvin, that's down south, had reached out to me yesterday and asked me to just do a build about that. And one of the first things that I wanted to just talk about is the myths associated with I don't have the discipline. And the first thing I think that's important for us to realize is that we do have the discipline. Everyone has discipline. When you look at every aspect of your life, there is something that you do each and every day that you demonstrate a level of discipline in order for you to fulfill on a habitual basis. If you like turning the TV on first thing in the morning and watching certain type of television programs, that's some discipline. If you got to go get your coffee in the morning, the first thing, soon as you get up, that's discipline. If you enjoy sex a certain amount of times per week, that is some discipline. So everyone does have discipline. It's really about where you want to be disciplined in the area of your life at. Now, in terms of expressing the type of discipline that's necessary for us to have optimal mental, physical, and emotional health, now you're dealing with a different scenario because everyone doesn't demonstrate a certain amount of discipline into those different areas of our lives. I don't in some areas of my life. But the thing about it is you have to take an inventory of your energy. It's kind of like when some people say, I don't have the energy to do something. That may be literally true. The same way if you're looking at your inventory of energy as finances, sometimes you just simply do not have the finances to invest in certain things. And there's nothing that you can actually do about that. Our energy is the exact same way. Every single day we invest a certain amount of energy into different areas of our life. Now, in terms of our diet, based upon the fuel that we have, that energy is going to be dedicated to certain areas of our life. So in order for us to really start a new routine, we have to be able to take inventory of our energy and figure out where we can take some energy from and to redirect it or redistribute it into a different area of our life. So for example, if you intend on getting up early in the morning to work out, but you're going to bed very late at night, you may have to redistribute your energy that you use for sleep in order for you to have enough energy in the morning to get up and to work out, which means you may need to go to bed earlier so that you can wake up earlier. You may be doing different things in your life every day, working 9-hour days or whatever, and you come home, you may not have the energy in order to go work out at that time. So you may need to sit there and assess what days of the week you can work out, or other different things that you can incorporate into your daily schedule. For example, you may have a certain amount of time during your lunch break in order for you to just do some brisk walking or to do some other different things. You have to be able to take an inventory of your energy and find out where you can redistribute that energy in your life, which means you may have to take away from one thing and to do something else. Now, all of that sounds good and dandy. But when it really comes down to it, regardless of what we say we want to do, everyone has their own value system and what they see as important. And if a person doesn't really see their optimum mental, physical, and emotional health as a priority, we're not going to do it. So how do you make these things a priority in your life? Well, you have to see it as important. How do you see these things as important? Sometimes people may not have enough energy or enough information to look at things as important to make it a priority. So one thing that I would encourage people to do is if you want to make some changes as far as your physical, mental, or emotional health, you need to invest more time in doing some research so that you can see why it is important. Because if you're not doing it right now, then you may not see it as important. Therefore, you may not make it a priority. In order to make it a priority, you have to see it as important. And the way that you can discover its importance is to do research, learn more about it, so that when it comes down to it, you can say, I need to make this a priority in my life. So I mentioned a few things, but I wanted to just reiterate what those things are. First and foremost, everyone has discipline. You have to figure out what you want to be disciplined to in your life and how it's going to work for you. Number two, everyone has their own inventory of energy. And in order for you to create any kind of routine, you have to think about what your inventory of energy is and how you need to redistribute it, which means you may have to take away from here and shift it over to here. And number three, you have to evaluate your value system and reprioritize what is important to you in your life. And then that way you can put yourself in the right headspace for you to create the proper routines in order for you to maximize your optimum mental, physical, and emotional health. So I will this was inspiring, empowering, those educating, and gave those of you some things to think about in terms of what we need to do in order to get ourselves in the right place, in order to create some more healthy routines for us. We have to have discipline in the things that we say are important. And if we're saying that we're important and these things are important, we have to look at these things and say, well, how could I redistribute my energy to make sure that these things of importance are getting the invested time that we need, and finances sometimes. And then thirdly, we have to prioritize and make sure that these things that we say we want to do are important. Peace.